You are an experienced product manager and you are looking for your next big opportunity in the job market. Now, here's the thing, the stakes are high, your standards are even higher, but what about a time when your motivation and your confidence are low? When dealing with finding your next big opportunity, especially when you're looking to climb up the ladder, it becomes super hard to focus on the things that matter, to regain your passion towards product management, and to overcome the challenges that come with each and every time that you hear a no. Finding your next big opportunity, this is a big challenge, especially when you know exactly what is it that you're looking for. But you can do it. And we are here today to support you in finding exactly that. Hello, my name is Maria Cassis. I'm the founder and general manager of Product League, and we are here to support you in becoming the best product manager you can be. Product League is an international mentoring program for product managers by product managers in 30 countries around the world. And today it's all about you and finding your next big job opportunity. So I hope that you're ready because we're going to dive deep in. We're going to talk about motivation. We're going to talk about confidence. We're going to talk about your standards, your expectations, and how you wrap up all of that together into your next big job opportunity. So get ready because we're starting right now. Dr. Leslie Dobson is here to teach us how to get motivated. Clinical and forensic psychologist joining us from Long Beach, California. What's up?
Hi. Good morning.
Hello. So happy to have you here with us today. How are you today, Leslie?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm well, I'm great. I'm excited to have you here with us finally after all this talk. And I'm so excited about the opportunity because this is such a relevant and important discussion point. Because with all the craziness that is going on in the job market these days, exactly, yeah, your eyes tell me that you know exactly what is it that I'm talking about. So, our audience, our leaguers are worthy of the best help out there, and this is what we're going to serve them today with your help. So I'm super excited. And we introduced you, I introduced myself, but the audience should introduce themselves as well. So go ahead, leaguers, mentors, mentees, and community, go ahead and please comment in this section, in the chat section, whatever it is that you watch us right now, Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, and let us know who you are, where you're from, and let's product network in this opportunity. I think that we're ready. Leslie. What do you say?
Sure, let's dive in.
Let's do that. And I am so thankful for the opportunity. Let's get it going.
Okay, so let's look at the slides. Okay, good morning. Thank you for taking the time to join and hear my talk on psychology and motivation and staying confident in this extremely tricky job market. At any point, if you have a question, throw it into the chat and I'll happily focus on it and answer it. I want to talk about a few things. This is our direction for this hour. What is the psychology of motivation? How can you implement it? What does it look like for you? And how can you stay on track to fulfill your dream career? A little bit about me. I am a clinical and forensic psychologist. I have spent the past 20 years growing my career, taking tons of risks. And throughout all of that, I have maintained my motivation at every risk and every scary step forward. I meet challenges with mastery and confidence. I have worked with some of the most dangerous people in the entire world, and I have navigated the government, gender bias, age bias, all while climbing forward in my career. And most importantly, staying true to who I am. I don't just follow the motivation, I follow and grab onto the momentum. So, how did I get here? We can break this down into 5 main factors. I implement theories of motivation. I've always fought for what I wanted. I took risks. I failed a lot, and I got rejected a lot, but I stayed very true to my goals and my vision. Each time I met a goal, I rewarded myself and then I set the next goal. Why does this all matter? The key to psychology and motivation and job promotion is that if we understand and name our motivation, it will allow us to externalize and operationalize our motivation. And then we can use it to meet our goal and reach our dream. So let's dive into what psychology is, the underlying part of psychology and motivation. We want to uncover the inner workings of our drive. What drives us? Why do we want a promotion? Why do we want another job? And Moria, can we play this video?
I'm pretty sure none of this would have happened if I hadn't been fired from Apple. It was awful tasting medicine, but I guess the patient needed it. Sometimes life's going to hit you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. I'm convinced that the only thing that kept me going was that I loved what I did. You've got to find what you love. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. So keep looking, don't settle.
I love that video. Okay, let's look at the science of psychology. So what does a psychologist do? Just really quick so you know where I'm coming from. We study the mind and behavior. We explore cognitions, emotion, perception, motivation, personality, social interactions. We study how you think, how you feel, and how you act. But why does this matter? Well, we need to understand the psychology of ourselves in order to set smart goals for our jobs, for our motivation to propel our career forward. We need to understand the underlying motivation that propels us forward, that allows us to continue our unstoppable journey to meet our goals.
You have a purpose. It is imperative that you do not waste the time that you have been given.
There is a boat that you're going to have to take to this island. And when you get to that island, there are many mountains you must climb. But in order to get to the top of that mountain, you got to burn the boat you came to that island on. And see, for many of you, you keep giving yourself options. You keep giving yourself ways out. There is a mentality that must be adapted in order for you to win. It's called there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. You gotta start now.
You said the same stuff last year. Broke, that was your excuse last year. I'm too busy. That's a good one, but not good enough. Why are you busy and running from your purpose? Nobody will help me. Woe is me. Nobody will support me. Honestly, until you start for real, until you launch, there ain't nothing to support. Until you get started, start now. No time to wait. Stop talking about your imperfections. Start now. Ain't nobody perfect because you'll never be perfect. Start now. You got haters. With all your haters, I've been telling you since the 90s. If you don't have haters, your vision is too small.
You gotta dream big, start small, act now. Dream big, start small, act now.
If you don't have haters, your vision is too small. I love that. Okay, let's dive into setting these goals. We're going to set SMART goals. We're going to look at that, set them, and be able to achieve them. We are motivated to work towards goals if they are clear and achievable. And again, everyone knows this because we've all done this, but our goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Your goal should be clear and precise. If you want to promote or if you have a job in mind, we are going to break it down and apply SMART goals to this. It should answer the questions of what, why, and how. It should not be vague or open to interpretation. Your goal is going to be so specific that you can understand it and you can achieve it. Here is an example of a specific goal for job promotion. I want to promote and achieve a higher level position because it aligns with my vision. My vision, we're going to get even more specific, is to create a product, oversee a team of 100 people, make decisions with a budget of $500,000 for product innovation. Another example, I will focus on promotion-based activities every day for at least 30 minutes. Make it more specific. Those 30 minutes will occur during lunch while I'm eating lunch on my workday. Goals should be quantifiable. Can you track progress and determine when you've achieved it? Include concrete criteria and metrics that will help you measure your success in your climb to the top. Measurable goals. Here are some examples. I will research jobs. I will pick 5. I will prepare applications within 1 week. I'll have a list of job sites. I will have my resume and my CV prepared. I'll get feedback on that from other professionals, friends, family. I'll prepare introductory letters. I'll get feedback on those too. Another measurable example. I will network with 5 professionals on LinkedIn in 7 days. I will pay for the higher LinkedIn membership so that I can connect with people and I can send them a message. I'll update my profile so that it appears like the job I want rather than the job I have. We'll start to redefine the image as though you already got that promotion. Send LinkedIn messages with really thoughtful questions to draw people in. Add an introductory video to your LinkedIn page. Let people know who you are and get a sense of your personality. And connect with many people in your dream job network, not to promote, but so that you look more credible. Because when you interview, they're going to be checking out your LinkedIn. Your goal should be realistic and attainable. Goals should stretch you, but still be possible to achieve with effort and resources. Unrealistic goals will only frustrate you and bring down your motivation. What is an achievable goal? Here's an example. There are companies that will be hiring and they will consider me a strong applicant. That makes it achievable. I am a strong applicant because of my skill set. Define that, build that, make it something that people want. I can articulate my passion for the position. My profile aligns with what your mission is and who you tend to hire in this position. I can explain what the future holds with me in your company, propelling you forward. Another example of something achievable, failure. If I am rejected, and you will be rejected, we have all been rejected, what are you going to do? I'll let myself grieve for 1 day, and then I will start building the next goal. I will rewrite my specific and measurable plan for promotion. I will review how rejection has brought down my motivation. I'll assess my motivational level, and then I will strive to increase my motivation and grab my momentum. Your goals should be aligned with your overall objectives. Do they make sense in the context of your life, your work, your organization? Are they relevant to your long-term plans? An example of a relevant goal. A relevant goal is going to align with you and the company that you want to work for or the promotion that you want to grab. So if it is relevant to you, it aligns with you that you only want 100% remote positions. Can you explain why? If you dig deeper, would you be willing to travel 1 day a week, a month, a quarter? What distance would you be willing to travel? How can you show up for this company? What hours can you devote to them? What will you achieve for them? Again, align your goal with yourself and the company. Another example, I am willing to move to another state. A lot of interviewers are going to ask, how does that really look? So be prepared with a relevant answer. If I move here, I know where I would live. I know the costs of the homes. I know the current interest rates. I am ready to move on this date. Define your plan as if it is happening. You've already gotten the job and you are preparing for your move. Define what your life will look like outside of the job once you get there. These are my hobbies, and these are the areas I've already looked for that I'm going to enjoy with myself and my family. Set a specific time frame and deadline for achieving your goals. This helps create a sense of urgency and commitment. Without a time frame, our promotion, our desire can drag on indefinitely. Here are examples of time-bound goals. Within the next 4 weeks, I will have 20 jobs in my site. I will alter my CV or resume for each job. I will have an introductory video for each job. So once I apply, I'm going to upload that onto my LinkedIn, and I'm going to change it depending on who's going to be viewing my LinkedIn for that job at that time. I'll have introductory letters specific to each job. Another example, networking. My networking will lead to great gain in 1 month. I will engage in back and forth conversation with 20 LinkedIn members, strengthening relationships in the field. I will have 200 new connections in the next month. Whatever you see foreseeable for yourself, set it as time bound.
You have a life assignment. And in order to fulfill your assignment, you're going to have to take advantage of every hour and every minute that you are gifted each day.
I love that. We are gifted time. How will we use it? Now, in this job search, as we all know, there are many, many challenges. And I want to talk about how we can overcome some of those challenges and make ourselves people who are not going to be rejected during those interviews or after. Remember those goals. Always keep those goals, SMART goals, in your mind, defining your objectives. I love the quote, dress for the job you want, not the job you have. Start acting like you are already there. You are not trying to be there. You are there. You just have not been hired yet. Identify your current competency levels and your skills. And if you aren't there in your skill set, start to educate. Immerse yourself in what you need to succeed in this job so that they cannot reject you. Get feedback. Get mentorship from people in the field, and make sure that you are aligned with your vision and the company's vision. Show initiative and leadership. During an interview especially, propose new innovative ideas, solutions, improvements. Don't shy away from selling yourself. Demonstrate your achievements using metrics, using data. Put together PowerPoints for every interview. You aren't just going in and being asked questions. You are going in and you are telling them that they need you in that position. Demonstrate your fit for a higher level position by doing this. Brand yourself as the person in the job that you want, not the person in the job that you have. Be strategic and apply to the job when it is in alignment with you and the company. Strategy and application is key.
I can typically tell, right? I can tell by their passion. I can tell by their focus. I can tell by their preparation. Through my experience in businesses, I can put myself in his position and say, okay, here are 900 of the 1,000 things he has to be aware of, and then go through and ask. And by how many of those are issues they've been able to address already, that kind of gives me a sense of how hard they're willing to work. You know, people like to say, you know, the only stupid questions are the ones you don't ask, and that's not right? Because the questions you ask tell me, tell whoever, more about you than anything else you do. Because in particular, it tells me about your preparation. If you ask me questions about just basic things that you should have known and you should have down to a science, that's going to disqualify you almost more than anything.
I think that's brilliant advice. There are no stupid questions. Yes, there are very stupid questions. And if you are in the setting of a high level interview and they are looking at you and many other competent candidates, you need to be careful how you ask your questions. And again, align yourself with your mission, your vision, the company, and educate yourself so your skill set allows you to show up as the person who's already in the position. During the interview, remember a few things. It's very important to draw the interviewer in. If you have someone like Mark Cuban, Jeff Bezos, and they are in your face and they are talking to you, they meet millions of people trying to suck them dry all day. Why you? Why are you important? Draw the interviewer in, make it personal. I like to physically change the way I sit. Put 2 feet on the ground and lean forward. Make eye contact. They need to see you. One strategy that's used in hostage negotiation to calm people and engage them, to control the room, is to put your fingers together and lean forward and look to somebody's right side of their eye. And for some reason, this allows them to really draw their attention to you. When they ask you a question, I want you to pause. I want you to repeat the question back to them. This is what I heard. Can you confirm? Did I hear that accurately? Engage them, make them talk to you as a human. Then I want you to answer the question, but compliment the interviewer. That is a great question. This is how I see it playing out from me and for your company. Ask them after if you've answered the question. Do you feel like I fully answered the question? Have I given you all the information that will help you decide if I'm the fit for this position? Make them reject you. They aren't just rejecting a faceless person in an interview because they interview so many people. They are rejecting Leslie Dobson, and they are going to remember that they said no to me. Practice. Interview practice is so important. Practice with real people, friends, colleagues, raw, real feedback. Practice in the mirror. Video record yourself and watch it. Watch your tone, watch your pace, understand your stimulus value. What do you pull for? How do you make people feel? This is very important in an interview. We aren't just listening to the content. We are observing the behavior and we are watching the process of how an interaction occurs with you and others. So we're going to jump into the psychology of motivation. How do we build and sustain our confidence?
You can have a job, or you can have a career, or you can have a calling. And if you can somehow figure out how to have a calling, you have hit the jackpot, because that's the big deal.
That's a huge question. What is your calling? Why are you doing this? What is propelling you forward in this job search? How do we stay motivated? We need to align our vision and let the momentum take us forward. It's not just motivation, it's momentum. We are resilient people. We need to stay positive, hopeful, and we will take rejection as a lesson and we will learn from it. We need to stay patient. In this job market, a job search takes a long time. Be persistent, don't give up, and while you're waiting, educate yourself. Continue to educate yourself. Oh, I see one question. Is there a part of culture that stands out with drawing the interviewer in? That's a great question. I'm in America. We have people from all over the world. I'd be really interested to hear people's feedback on if this is relevant when it comes to interviews. For me, in America, being a woman, it is seen as slightly assertive, and I have to be careful to edge on assertion rather than aggression in interviews.
There is nothing, I mean literally nothing you are facing right now that the great ones didn't face before. It ain't just you dealing with it. Everybody got to deal with insecurities. Everybody got to deal with fear.
And you might have to say, I'm going to get through this over and over and over until you believe it.
Because you understand, once you get that breakthrough, you finally understand what you're capable of.
Purpose is bigger than the pain, and the promise is bigger than the process. And I know it's hard right now, and I know you feel like quitting, but you gotta understand there is no tomorrow. Some dreams you gotta run toward. You gotta run, baby. Run, run, run. Run after it. Run like there's no tomorrow. Run like you know you deserve it. Run like you know that there is nobody else that can attain it. Run after it.
I love that. It gives me chills every time. The passion can be there. The passion is in you. How do you find it? We're going to talk about some theories of motivation. These look very wordy, but we'll go through them relatively quickly. All different theories looking at how we stay motivated and what motivation means for us. The first one I want to talk about is instinct theory. We are driven to perform certain behaviors. Our behaviors are innate. We have instinctual survival behaviors. That's where we get this quote, trust your gut. How do you trust your gut? If a promotion aligns with your gut instinct, don't let anything get in the way of that. Don't overcomplicate your gut. If you have that feeling, go for it. So here's a question for the group, for the chat. What does your gut tell you right now about applying to that job in your mind or applying for that promotion?
I'm jumping right in. I hope it's fine. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, I'm jumping right in. At the time that we allow the audience here, the listeners, to comment with their thoughts, and I would like to ask you, Leslie, to start with your own tips and tricks as for trusting your gut. How should a person know when they are ready for something? Please, audience, we do want to keep you in the loop, so please go ahead and comment your thoughts as well, leaguers. But let's get the discussion going, Leslie. In the meantime, the guys here are typing in.
Sure. I follow my gut intuition, and that is one other theory that we are going to go through of cognitive dissonance. But there has always been a point in my career journey where I have felt like it's no longer enough, where I have felt like I am beyond the capacity of the job I'm in, I'm feeling stuck, and I need to move forward. And I've grabbed those moments, and that's when I've just started searching for other jobs. I've started to look around. I've started to educate myself on what people can do. And in doing that, I started to motivate and empower myself and build that confidence up to actually apply for the next job, the next promotion. And when it really aligned with my gut instinct of who I am and what I wanted, I got it. We'll jump to the next video while people are thinking about it.
There's a few big successes compensate for dozens and dozens of things that didn't work. Kindle, Amazon Prime, our third-party seller business, all of those things are examples of bold bets that did.
Okay, so we're going to fail a lot in this, and we need to be able to trust our gut and trust ourselves, that we have a mission and a vision for ourselves. We deserve more. We're powerful. We are in control of our careers and our future. Every time we fail, it is a lesson for us on what we need to do to educate ourselves, build our skill set, change our application strategy, and move forward. I see that someone wrote there isn't a clear moment. For me, I had a bad case of imposter syndrome and lost clarity of my true value. I think that's very common. There's a motivational speaker called Mel Robbins, and she had a podcast where she talked about imposter syndrome. And she discussed how you really aren't an imposter. You are just at the beginning. You're already doing it. You just haven't done it enough yet. So you really aren't an imposter. Another one, I decided to reach out for help with a mentoring program like Product League. Perfect. Perfect. When we are feeling stuck and not understanding why we are stuck, we can bounce that off other people, and we need coaching. A lot of the time in these higher level positions, we need to make sure we have coaches that we are aligned in our vision. And for me, as a therapist, I often go see another psychologist and make sure that I am working and I am aligned in my field. So I love that. Product League, perfect. Okay, our next theory, drive reduction theory. Our bodies strive for homeostasis. Motivation arises from the need to reduce internal physiological imbalances. When we experience a lack or an imbalance, we are motivated to find that equilibrium, that homeostasis. This is actually how habits are formed. How we do this forms a habit. That's something to look at within yourself. Is there an imbalance in your job? Have you gotten used to your life? Has it become a habit? Another theory I love that I mentioned is cognitive dissonance theory. This is when our discomfort arises when holding conflicting beliefs or attitudes. I am finally unhappy enough in my job to make this change. This is golden and something that I have always really listened to in myself. Listen, when your feelings pair with your thoughts in this discomfort, it's time to act. Align your actions with these feelings. Stop all or nothing thinking. If I leave this job, I can only get this one. I'm only going to be able to do this job. I'm catastrophizing and fearing the next step. Stop believing that there are quick fixes. This is a long road and it takes a lot of work. Stop thinking that one size fits all. If anyone in the chat wants to jump in and give me an example of when they have felt that dissonance, I'd love to hear it. When you have felt unhappy enough in your job and you have finally made a change. Think about that, and I'll jump over to the next one. We have innate psychological needs. This is called self-determination theory. Motivation is highest when we have autonomy, when we feel in control of our life. Motivation is highest when we have competency, when we feel effective. Motivation is highest when we have relatedness, when we feel connected to others. We look at this in two different ways, intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic, inside you. Why do you want this job? Are you interested? Will it satisfy you? Start to dig into feeling and understanding why you're doing this. Extrinsic motivation. Why do you want this job? Is it external praise? Is it pressure? What will you achieve in this promotion? Is it money? Look at all of that and understand it. And please jump into the chat if you want to also share with me, what are you motivated by? What motivates you the most in this job search journey? Another theory is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I want to talk about it very briefly. But we struggle to achieve that self-actualization, that top part of the pyramid, if we don't have our other needs met. So if we look at basic needs, food, health, safety, we need to make sure those are all fulfilled. We need to make sure we have social networks, support around us. And then we can start to build our self-esteem, our confidence, and get to that top tier of self-actualization where we know what we want in our job, our alignment, what our gut is telling us. And then when we apply for that job, we are a true fit. And they see that in us. There's a connection, and that's how we get it. Oh, I like this. What motivates me is the possibility of personal growth. Okay, so that sounds more like intrinsic motivation. Something inside you is propelling you forward. There's your momentum. Dig into that. What's the personal growth that you want to achieve? How can you break it down? Can you set smart goals to define that personal growth that you are looking for? Oh, I see another one, having a safe and welcoming environment to develop and grow further professionally and personally. Those are great. So, and again, internal motivation, defining it, welcoming it in you, and explaining it is going to help you in that interview. Explain to the promotion to the company why you want that job in a very grounded, genuine way. You'll connect with them and you can build together.
They started their journey all alone and they picked up help, support, and momentum along the way. Nobody can help you do anything until you start. So you got to start now.
Anybody who has ever achieved any level of success will tell you you got to get out of your feelings. Your feelings are going to keep you locked in a prison of paralysis, addicted to a drug called comfort.
Now, I know that there are some things that you have been hoping will happen. I get it. I'm a visionary. I'm a dreamer, but I'm also an action taker. And today I want to encourage you to go beyond talking about what you want to see happen and get to work.
You have to change your perspective. You have to change your expectation. And you got to believe that this time the light's going to come on. This time your parachute's going to open. Anybody that's ever achieved any level of success will tell you they had to jump. If you want it, you got to jump. You got to make that move. And you can't wait to feel right. You can't wait to be comfortable. You can't always be calculated. Sometimes you're not going to have all the answers.
I don't want you to be a superhero to everyone else and then turn around and let yourself down. I want you to appreciate and utilize the gifts, the talents, the skills, and the positive attributes that you have been given.
I love that. It's time to start, right? If it's in you, if the feeling is there, take a small step forward and follow it and start. I want to talk briefly about neurobiology. We have a reward system in our brain. We like dopamine. Dopamine allows us to feel motivated. Dopamine gives us pleasure, satisfaction, motivation, momentum. How do we increase dopamine? When you are feeling stressed and exhausted at work and taking on the challenge of promotion and all that goes into applying to new jobs, it is completely overwhelming and draining. We need to counteract that. I know it's very difficult, especially in the tech world, to focus on a work-life balance, but can you do that? Can you say, okay, this is my work, but this is my healthy life. I'm going to incorporate exercise, I'm going to sleep enough. I'm going to incorporate healthy food and vitamins, and I'm going to have healthy relationships around me. All of this will increase your dopamine and counteract the chemicals in your brain that come from stress and exhaustion and being completely overwhelmed at times. And if you have families and young kids, I know it is exhausting. One way I like to work around this is every win, even if it's small, is still a win. So I praise myself for achieving even the smallest goal. I give myself a pat on the back, and even that small pat is going to give you a little more dopamine to combat the challenges that you are experiencing. So don't give up. It's important to look at social and cultural influences as well. Personally, a lot of the time I've wanted a different job is because of peer pressure, social norms, cultural expectations. And I didn't get the job, or if I did, I didn't like it. And I needed to make sure that my mission, my desire to promote and move up was aligned with my gut reaction, my true value, what I wanted to make myself happy and healthy and continue that journey of growth. Think about that for yourself. Why do you want to promote? Why do you want to change your career? Are you seeking approval from someone? Are you trying to please someone? That's a huge focus. If it is something that isn't in you and it's external, it's not going to be the fit. We have to dig in deeper and understand what our drive is. Again, because if we know our drive, we can externalize it and we can operationalize it to reach our dream. I love percentages. I ask in therapy my clients all the time, percentages. What percentage of you believes that you can get the next job? And I'd love it if people wanted to type into the chat their percentage. 0 is, I don't think I'm going to get it. 100 is, I am a shoo-in. I would love to hear the job market and how you feel about this next opportunity. This is a theory called self-efficacy, your belief in your ability to accomplish a specific task. High self-efficacy is associated with greater motivation to take challenges. It's also aligned with resiliency. If you get rejected, you can bounce back faster if you have high self-efficacy. Okay, I see a 93%. So we could take that, we can implement that into our SMART goals. How do we increase your 93% to 95%? What is that 7% that is preventing you from being at 100? We can go back up to our SMART goals and we can start setting goals specific to building that 93% into 100, so that when we apply and we enter into that job, we feel in total control. We feel the highest amount of self-efficacy that we have. We can stay motivated, we have momentum, we can take on challenges, and we are resilient.
I'm pretty sure none of this would have happened if I hadn't been fired from Apple. It was awful tasting medicine, but I guess the patient needed it. Sometimes life's going to hit you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. I'm convinced that the only thing that kept me going was that I loved what I did. You've got to find what you love. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. So keep looking, don't settle.
Keep looking, don't settle. From one of the most amazing men that have lived. Most amazing career. I see this question. What rituals do you recommend when preparing for a job interview? It's interesting to answer that because I also testify in court and I have similar rituals for both. Job interviews are stressful. They are high pressure. We have a lot that we put on ourselves to show up. I prepare weeks ahead of time. I rehearse my answers. I build a sense of mastery around how I am going to speak. I buy the perfect outfit that aligns with my confidence. I do a deep dive on anyone who could potentially be interviewing me, and I understand their personality and who they are, not just at work. If I can access any information on their social life, on previous videos, on how colleagues talk about them, I want to know everything about everyone in the room when I approach that interview, just like I do when I take the stand. Other rituals are I do a practice run. So I will drive by where the interview is going to be. I may even stay in a hotel the night before if it's somewhere we have to travel. I get up, I put on my suit, I act like it is going to happen. And then I just go home and prepare for what the actual job interview will be like. A lot of the times, and this is different in every career, uh, I can get insight into the interview questions, and I can get insight into what they are really looking for. So networking is a huge piece of that. Networking with people all around surrounding that job. After an interview, I tend to overanalyze and it gets counterproductive. Any tips for that? I love that because I do that too. I think we ruminate a lot in our minds over interviews. One great thing to do is to leave that interview, and if you're in your car or you're on the subway, wherever you might be, write down every question and every answer that you can remember. Write down how you felt, write down how you think you did immediately. Trust your reaction right after that interview so that when you go home and you start to ruminate and worry and think about that in your head, you can go back to the actual evidence of what happened and analyze how you answered the questions. Once your emotions calm down 24, 48 hours later, and you go back and reflect on those questions and those answers, I would think that you are going to feel much more confident. Because during an interview, we are on. We are aligned, we are showing our best selves, and we are showing up that way because we've prepared. So don't doubt yourself, but give yourself the evidence so that you can reflect back on that. Another theory of motivation based on our emotions and affect, like we've been talking about. Our emotions influence our motivation. If we're happy and positive, we're going to be more motivated. We're going to have more joy, more hope. If we have negative emotions, it's going to hinder our motivation. We're going to feel more depressed, sad, hopeless. It's very important, again, like I said at the beginning, to define your emotions because then we can externalize them, we can control them, we can operationalize them. I love telling clients to journal. If we can take the emotions out of our head and put them on paper, we free up our headspace, and then we can analytically look at what the real challenges are versus what the emotions are that are skewing the reality of the situation. That is great for before and after an interview as well. We want to be able to take the traffic out of our head, put it on paper, and give ourselves an objective analytical view of the actual problem and what we need to achieve it. To summarize my talk, I want you to really hear that rejection is not failure. It's a lesson. It is one of the best lessons in life. Set yourself up to win. Through everything we've talked about today, you can make yourself someone that they are not going to reject. Identify, externalize, operationalize your motivation. But most of all, find your momentum. And when the ball starts rolling, grab it and go with it and stay excited about it. Oh, I see a question. Would you be able to share your best interview experiences? Did those lead to a job offer? Definitely. I've taken a lot of risks in my life, all the way from I applied for a master's degree at the University of London and I got rejected. So I decided to get on a plane and fly out to London and say, I think you made the wrong choice. I'm here. I don't have a flight back. I don't have anywhere to live. Give me a chance. And I helped them figure out a probationary status for me to start the program. And then I became a full-time student. So that was an interview that I bombed, but I didn't let them make that decision for me. With jobs, I interview all the time. I'm hired by attorneys as an expert witness in litigation, and I present my best self to my ability. But also, I think I present my humility and I let them know the limits of what I can offer and the real experience they will have with me. I'm usually retained now because I'm well practiced in pitching myself. But it took a couple of years to pitch myself, and I had to build that credibility and that trust in myself because of my education and how much I've built my skill set, and then how I could portray that out to the people interviewing me and thinking about hiring me. And with that said, we come to our last slide. So Moria, welcome back if you'd like, or anyone, if you have any questions, I'm open.
So I'm here with you. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. And I love all the questions submitted by the audience. But guys, we have 6 minutes left. That means about 30 more questions that you can ask Leslie right here. So go ahead and use the opportunity. As Audrey is here with a question, it's all about the inner work. Thanks for sharing. So this is not a question, this is a comment, but a beautiful one. And absolutely, thank you, Leslie, for sharing your experience. And in the meantime, while you guys are typing in your questions, I want to go back to a previous question, one that was submitted by a thread earlier. And you, Leslie, did a great job talking about the cultural aspects of drawing your interviewer in. But let's talk about the tips and tricks of how to do it the right way. So you already mentioned some aspects of posture, right? Dressing the right way, eye contact, right? A few of those stuff were in the slides, but let's talk about that in the meantime, because our audience, our leaguers here, they're looking for the experienced, the great, the wonderful, the best job opportunities out there for experienced product managers. So this is not an entry level job opportunity. These are opportunities to work with people that they have to feel. Here is the tricky thing. It's not just about the skills. It's about making the hiring manager to feel that they can trust you. This is why drawing the interviewer in such high level, climbing up the ladder positions is so tricky and crucial in interviews. So let's get back to it. How do you advise our leaguers here on how to draw the interviewer in?
I think what I have found, and being interviewed and also interviewing others, is that I strive for that genuine connection. And how do you do that? And I'm sure you all know people who can grab your attention in a second and you're interested in them. And they're not necessarily introverted or extroverted people, but they have the ability to show up with presence. And that is so important. If you can enter a room, you make eye contact. You're not just making eye contact, but you're seeing them for who they are. And you are saying, hello, my name is Dr. Dobson. I am here to be interviewed by you, and I'm very excited. And you are really meaningfully applying your emotions with your body posture and your eye contact and your value system. I want this, I'm here, and I'm so excited to be a part of this.
I love this one. I love this one. And I'm sure that our listeners here in the audience will find much value in it. Let's go back into regaining motivation and confidence. You already discussed that in the previous slides, and you said, what should we do differently once we hear the no, the big no? And I'm sure that you have more to share with our audience on this one, because the job market these days all around the world is a little bit tricky, to say the least. And with high stakes and high standards, as I said previously on the opening, the intro for this session, this is where the opportunity or the challenge comes. Actually, it becomes a big challenge, not just an opportunity.
Yeah.
So, how should one deal with hearing no, or maybe more than one no, and how should they go dealing with that aside of revisiting their smart goals as you advised, or rebuilding their strategy around that, the emotional aspects, motivational aspects of regaining your self-esteem, motivation, and confidence?
Definitely. I think we need to have insight. We need to look at ourselves and we need to understand how we take rejection. And that may be something that came from our childhood. That may be something we've carried throughout our lives. But we have to genuinely reflect on the rejection. Most of the time in these interviews, they're not rejecting you personally. They're rejecting the operationalized presentation of you that is going to be inefficient for their company, right? So we can't take it to the internal workings of our personality, of who we are, the deep, dark places. We can take it for what it is. They didn't like what they saw in that split second for various reasons. I love to ask for feedback. I love, if I'm rejected, I will call them, I will hound them, and I will ask them why I was rejected. I want them to explain to me, was it what I said? Was it my planning? Was it my presentation? Was it the tone of my voice? Did you have somebody in mind already? How soon did you hire that next person? I want to navigate the entire environment and know that it is not about me personally. It is about so much more. And how can I show up next time with more ability to grab them and snag that job?
I love that. We have another question comes from the audience. Coming from the audience, this one is, I'm usually good at interviews, but I don't get as many interviews as much. What do I really miss on my CVs to convert it into an interview? So here today we're focusing more on the emotional part, but I'm sure, Leslie, that you have some emotional tricks and tips to share with our audience, some that you can recognize through a CV that you share out there.
The first thing that comes to mind is that the CV may not be personal enough. It may not grab the attention of the person receiving it. It needs to be personal to you so that there's a theme, an image, but also it needs to be so specific to them that they can see you as a colleague, as a friend, someone they may go out with, as a part of their team. So how do you personalize your CV so specifically for that job? And that's why we go back to patience. It takes patience and it takes time to produce an applicant that is really what these high stake jobs want. And another thing might be to add a picture of yourself and really personalize it. It's not common in the field, but it's effective.
And a question from Efrat is it really possible to feel 100% about your ability to get a position? There are always things that are completely out of your control. And if you don't leave room for reality, aren't you setting yourself to feel greatly let down?
I hear you. I think you can strive to feel 100% confident in what you offer and what your skill set is and what you bring to the room. I think you can strive to get there. And if the position doesn't align, that's their percentage, not yours.
That's very interesting. Leslie, I had the best time having you on our stage here. This was Dr. Leslie Dobson. Thank you so much for sharing your know-how, your experience, your thoughts, your tips, your tricks, your experiences as a job candidate yourself, actually, and opening up to our leaguers. We learned so much. So thank you so much for your time and for the opportunity. How was it for you?
Thank you for having me. It's great. I'm so passionate about taking risks and being true to yourself and showing up for yourself. So if this could help even one person just know that you have the power to achieve what you want, you just need to figure out how to get it, then I'm here for it.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you, everyone who joined us right now. Thank you for those who are thanking you, Leslie, in the comment section. Until the next time, go lig it up. Bye-bye, everyone.